Hey guys, welcome to today's Fiddle Focus video. Today we are going to dive into a topic that I am super excited about. Kind of like I am just about the fiddle in general, and a lot of things really. Today we're going to be looking at where you put ornaments in tunes. Ornaments are things like slides, grace notes, rolls, all that good stuff. The things that give your fiddling a little extra pizzazz. So you can take a tune that sounds like this and make it sound like this. I'm going to tell you about 3 places in your tunes where you can put various ornaments to make your tune sound a little fancier. If you want sheet music and practice tracks for the tune featured in this video and for a whole bunch of other fiddle tunes, you can find that in the link in the description. Alright, let's get started. So growing up when I was listening to fiddle tunes, I would sometimes hear people do these like fancy dancy things that I just couldn't figure out what they were. Like I might have heard a little swoopy slide, or this funny little blip in the middle of the tune, or something that sounded like almost like a bird song randomly thrown in there. And over time I learned that those things had names. They were ornaments that people use in fiddle tunes. Sometimes they're meant to imitate the voice, sometimes they're meant to imitate the sound of bagpipes or that sort of thing, depending on the tradition that the folk music came from. For example, in Irish music, a lot of the ornamentation is supposed to imitate the sound of pipes or whistles, because those are very traditional Irish instruments. But the thing is, once you even learn those ornaments, you're faced with the question of, when I learn a new tune, where do I put them? I'm going to be focusing on a tune called 100 Pipers. This is a jig, and so we're going to be looking mostly at where you would put these ornaments in a jig. Okay, the first place we're going to put it is on a downbeat. What's a downbeat, you ask? Good question. A jig is in 6/8 time. That means there are 6 eighth notes per measure, and you divide those into groups of 3 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you notice where I was snapping and tapping my foot, which you can't see, that is the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a very good place to put an ornament, just because it sort of emphasizes the beat, the kind of important note in each measure. So for example, in 100 Pipers, we start off with a couple of pickup notes, and then we're on the downbeat. And that would be a good place to put an ornament. I like to put a slide there. A slide is when you take your finger and you place it a half step below the note you're going to end up on. So right here, we're wanting to end up on the 2nd finger on the A string, playing a C sharp. So we start a half step lower and slide up. And we're putting that slide on the note that's on the downbeat. So it goes like this. Gives that note a little extra emphasis. You could put other ornaments there like mordents, we'll get to those, or other grace notes. So that would sound kind of like this. Or, so you have a few options, but that's one spot where you can put your ornaments. Okay, place number 2 where you can put your ornaments in a tune is on a repeated note. In fiddle music, we're all about keeping things interesting. And if you have a repeated note, it can honestly be a little too boring. Maybe we have a real problem with our attention spans. So when I have a repeated note in a tune, often I'll put an ornament on the 2nd note. For example, after we play the beginning of 100 Pipers, we have that repeated C sharp. And I like to put an ornament on the 2nd note there. If you don't have the ornament there, this is what it'll sound like. That's fine, but it could be better. So what I'm going to put there is a mordent, and if you've seen my other videos, you may have learned about this already. A mordent is a grace note ornament. What you're doing is you're playing the principal note, so this is a C sharp, 2nd finger on A, and you play that note, then you play the note above, so your 3rd finger, that was a little out of tune, and then you go back to the C sharp. So principal note, note above, back to the principal note. All of that happens right at the beginning of the note. So it goes, takes a little practice. So that kind of separates out the 1st C sharp from the 2nd C sharp and just keeps things interesting. So here's what that will sound like. There are all sorts of places in this tune where you have repeated notes. So I'm just going to show you, if I play the A part and I do those ornaments on pretty much all the repeated notes, this is what it'll sound like. So those are usually good spots to put your ornaments. And our third and final place to put an ornament is on a long note. So again, when you have a long note, it can just be a little boring unless you add some fanciness. In jigs, you might come across a place in the tune where you have a quarter note or a dotted quarter note, and you can just play it. That's totally fine. So in the B part, for example, you might play. Did you hear that long first finger note? But we could make it sound cooler. So we will, because that's how we roll. Speaking of which, the ornament we're gonna use is a roll. That is one of the worst kinds of dad jokes. I'm very, very sorry. A roll is an ornament that often replaces a dotted quarter note. It's a 5-note ornament, that's a lot of notes, and they happen very fast. So here, the principal note we're playing is an F sharp, your first finger on the E string. So we're gonna play that first finger, note above, first finger, note below, and then first finger again, all in one bow. But we're gonna play it super fast. It's gonna go like this. Woo! You kind of hold on to that first note a little extra and then smoosh all the other notes towards the end. So here's what that sounds like in the B part. That's the little birdsong ornament that I like. So it just gives that longer note a little extra coolness. These are just 3 of the many places in tunes where you can throw in some ornaments, but it gives you a good starting place. All right, you guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you want more fiddle videos, sheet music, practice tracks for fiddle tunes, harmonies, variations, all that good stuff, you can get it in the link in the description. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.